Alright, what is up YouTube? That is not what I wanted to do. Anyways, what is up YouTube? This is your Nine Protector Sane here, and today's video we're going to, I saw this video from FlygonHG, who's a content creator I watch here and there. Came out very recently ago. What is it today? Today is the 29th. Actually, yesterday. So this came out yesterday. And he is doing a Emerald encounters for Pokemon Emerald tier list of Pokemon Emerald encounters, which is what I'm most known for, so I decided to react to it. Also, before we get started, I want to clarify a couple things. First thing is I reached out to Flygon and got in contact with him personally and got the okay to react to his videos and use his content in my channel. So that has been clarified. Like I have reached out to him personally. I'm going to have his I'm gonna have this video in the title in the card above, probably around this time, and I will put his channel link in the description below as well. So I did get the okay from him. Also, everything that I'm going to disagree with in this video, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know what I'll disagree with. But everything I'm going to be disagreeing with is purely opinion. Like this, and if I ever say there's something that I don't agree with, this isn't me attacking him. Or it's not, you know, me saying he's a bad player or a bad content creator or something. Like, none of this is personal. It's pure opinions on a video game that we both play in different ways, and we both have different play styles. Different opinions on tiers. Like, the B tier to me is, like, average level Pokemon. Like, they're good at sometimes, good sometimes, not great other times. And then, like, S tier is, like, broken, can solo most of the game. We might have different opinions on like A and S tier and stuff like that. So, and we have different playstyles too. Like when doing a tier list, playstyles do matter. Like your own personal playstyle, at least for Pokemon, like the things that you use, it matters. It matters. Like I use some Pokemon better than I use others. There's just some like psychic types I just don't use that often, just because they're not as interesting to me. Or like fire types. So maybe I don't think of fire types that good because, you know, my own mind, I'm like, I don't really go towards them. So just like keep that in mind. This isn't shade. There's no shade here. This is just pure, fun, enjoyable, like, opinion bouncing, I guess. Like just comparing and contrasting our lists. So let's get into it.
What's up, YouTube? I am FlygonHG, and I do a ton of hardcore Nuzlocke here on my channel. I forgot to introduce myself earlier, so I'm doing it now. Let's cut back to past me.
Throw my webcam.
Alright, so today what we're doing, hi YouTube, we are going to be ranking the encounters that you can get in Pokemon.
So I want to get,
so
he's
Raichu's
just
solid.
He has
it's
a
not
relevant
like
tier, which is like the NFEs and anything. I think it's only Pokemon that he will like trade evolutions or Pokemon that the final evolution might come super late. So I don't know if he does like Lombre and Ludicolo separate, which I should probably do, but that he's got the irrelevant tier, and then also he mentioned earlier that like Metagross, like post game Pokemon, are irrelevant as well. I don't think either of us use legendaries, so no legendary should be ranked. So he starts with Raichu.
An amazing encounter. There's not that many great encounters in the Safari Zone though, so if you get a Pikachu and you happen to catch it, it's pretty good, especially for like fighting water types, which there are going to be a lot in the late game. A little frail, so it's harder to switch things in on, but you can kind of just set up sweeps by just spamming Thunderbolt. Sandslash is actually, I'm going to put...
So I like Raichu in the B tier. I think it's not the best electric type. Like Magneton and Plusle are better in my opinion, but it's like a fill-in late game electric type, which is good. It's a good typing for the region.
Put that in A tier. I think Sandslash is kind of weak, but where you get it in the game is it is right before Norman, the 5th gym leader. And Norman, especially for first-time players, is a huge wall in Nuzlocke because of that slaking that he has, or the slacking, whatever. This guy is relatively physically bulky, so he's a great check into it. And you can usually get it in either in Mirage Tower or the desert. So you're pretty likely to get this. I would say Sandslash is an A tier because it helps you against Norman. Ninetales.
Remember how I said we have different definitions of the A tier? See, Sandslash as a Pokemon being good for like one fight, I would not put that in the A tier. I would put that like C tier for like niche. So that's interesting. It's not bad for Norman. I wouldn't say it's A tier for Norman, but it's not bad for Norman. So that's interesting. I mean, I guess he just values the niche more than I do.
Tails is like barely in this game, and you're gonna get it really late in the game. It's a good Pokemon, kind of. You're much better getting Medicham or one of the ghosts from Mount Pyre. Wigglytuff is also a C tier encounter.
Oh yeah, he's also talking about like Ruby and Sapphire a little bit too. So Medicham is not Emerald, but like Ruby Sapphire Medicham is there. And I agree with both of these replacements. They're just like meh Pokemon.
It's got decent special attack, and it's got a lot of coverage moves, so that helps a little bit. There's a lot of other much better normal types. Vileplume, I think, is the worst of the two options. Grass types tend to not be that great, even though you've got the water types that you're going to be fighting, because most of them have Ice Beam, or they have types that make them hit super effective into grass types. So, for example, Ice Beam or Sludge Bomb. Decent Pokemon, though. You're not going to do much better on the route between Verdanturf and Mauville than Vileplume. So, I don't know. I think I would always go with Sunflora before Vileplume, just because then you can at least switch into strong ground type moves, which there aren't that many in this game, I guess. But grass types in general get cucked in Generation 3 just because there's not a lot of moves that they can use, and Giga Drain is already pretty low power, so not the best encounter, not the worst.
One, I love that he says Sunflora, and he also knows about Bellossom. Like, he agrees that Bellossom is the better pick. And yeah, that is a good note about all the ice.
Golduck, there are so many water types in this game. I would say normally Golduck is actually pretty underrated, but in this one, there's so many water types. You have to get this from the Safari Zone, so you miss out on Raichu, you miss out on Rhydon, you miss out on Heracross. So it's not that great of an encounter. There are much, much, much better water types to get other than Golduck. But it's a solid Pokemon. Maybe C tier.
I don't talk about Safari. I don't talk about encounter rates or like encounter things that much. Let me pause it. I don't talk about like encounter differences, like what you get in one route compared to the other thing. And his note about the Safari Zone, I get that. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I don't personally rank off that, but it's a legit thing. Like Golduck is probably not the most amazing thing you get in the Safari Zone. So, and it's an underrated water type, but there's just better water types.
So these Pokemon are both pretty good regardless of whether you do them and do the trade evolution or not. Kadabra, high B tier. Very solid Pokemon. Low A tier, actually. Low A tier, yeah. Yeah, Kadabra's a really good Pokemon. Very fast. It can just hit Stab Psychic. If you're playing with EVs, just max out this thing's special attack EVs and take it to town. Really, really great Pokemon. And of course, Alakazam in that same token is an S tier Pokemon. Yeah, Alakazam, phenomenal.
Hard agree.
Kadabra, but with 2 spoons, which means it has more special attack, more speed, more special defense. You got to be really careful with these guys. It's very hard to switch them in because they have such frail defense. Pretty solid Pokemon, but just be careful if you're switching in, and on set mode, it kind of makes these a little bit worse. Machoke. Machoke is a little too weak, a little too slow, and a little too frail to be amazing. There's not a lot that it can do other than click Brick Break. And because in this game, you can only use one Brick Break TM, you have to be really confident that this thing is what you're taking to the Elite Four. It's not bulky enough to, sweep Glacia, whatever her name is. It's going to take too much.
What was that? What? I want to go back to that. I want to go see this again.
Machoke is a little too weak, a little weak. Glacia.
That is amazing. That is fantastic. This is the thumbnail of the video, by the way. So I'm going to throw this agree. Instead of pausing the video all the time, if he says something I agree with, I'm just going to throw this in my webcam and just like, yeah. I'm just going to shake my head and just slap that up, and I'll just like get rid of it. There we go. That's amazing. That is art.
Glacia, whatever her name is, it's going to take too much damage from Wall Rain. You can't safely switch it in on crits and stuff like that. So Machamp, very
worst. Machoke is like the worst fighting type in the game, but the fighting type is just so good.
Very good. I'm going to put this in high A tier, not quite S tier, but this is a very good Pokemon. It's Machoke, but better in every single way. It's got 4 arms instead of 2 arms. That's like twice the damage. That's just how math works. So this is a really great Pokemon. Very strong, relatively bulky, a little slow, which is frustrating. Guts is a great ability. Not as good on slow Pokemon, but pretty good ability. Tentacruel is next here. Tentacruel is an S tier Pokemon. Tentacruel is always an S tier Pokemon in my opinion. I think it's guaranteed to get. Very fast, very bulky, relatively strong, which is great. It's not as good in this game because it doesn't get special Sludge Bomb. Really good into Lance because of Ice Beam. You're speedy, you're fast. You should be able to, with a little bit of speed IVs or speed EVs, outspeed Flygon, outspeed Salamence. One of the few water types that can easily outspeed all of those guys. Just generally pretty good. Really good into Altaria, really good into Swablu. Like all of those. Swablu's not hard. I don't know why I said Swamploo, but really good into Winona. So this is a solid Pokemon.
That's a huge one I actually will disagree with. You guys probably know that I don't think too highly of Tentacruel. I do in like Kanto. I think the added poison type is like, sure, you can outspeed things and like kill it with like you can outspeed the Altaria and kill it with Ice Beam before it can even like Dragon Dance on or Earthquake on you, but like what if it's not in immediately? There's just like things that can go wrong because it's so weak to ground and there's so much Earthquake that I think it makes the planning harder than like any other water type. Even like one that doesn't have to outspeed it. Like you don't have to outspeed Dragon Dance Altaria. Like if it has like 1 or 2 Dragon Dances up, there's some just bulky water types that just like tank it. Like a Whalmer could probably just maybe not Whalmer, but like okay, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself with like 2 Dragon Dance. But like 1 Dragon Dance, like Whalmer's gonna live that at full HP. You know, like a Marshtomp should live that at full HP. Pelipper is just actually immune. So I think like there's other water types that do its job better. It is guaranteed, but like so is I shouldn't say so is Gyarados because that's just drastically different Pokemon. It's guaranteed, but it's not good at first. When you first get it's not good. Its moveset's bad until 25. Then it's like good for Flannery, and then it's like not really good for Norman because its stats spread out, and then it's like a water type with Ice Beam for Winona, and then Tate and Lies. I just don't think I think the poison type hampers it so hard. So I definitely don't think S tier. I do think S tier and like it's like A tier in like every other game except for Emerald, I think, because it's just like an early encounter. So like I'd be okay with A tier, but S tier is just that's too high for me. That's too high for me.
Graveler, low C tier. There's better Pokemon than Graveler. The ground types are not as good without Bulldoze because you don't have a really reliable way to hit stuff with stab ground type moves other than Dig, which is worse in this game, Magnitude, which is worse in this game, and Earthquake, which you usually don't get until much later. There's better defensive pivots. This is solid, but it's not like an amazing encounter. Golem is a little bit better. I'll put it in low B tier, but same thing. I mean, it's strong, but especially late game, like it's not doing anything against Wallace, that's for sure. So I don't know. This is okay, but not amazing.
So I'm okay. Now I'm just confused. I guess my thing here is why are Golem and Graveler so much lower than Sandslash? When I think Graveler alone is better for Sandslash, especially if Sandslash is like the note of Sandslash is being good against Norman. Graveler is better because it has about the same stats, like pretty close, similar stats, but also the rock typing, so it's resisting normal. I think that's just purely better. Like that's just purely better. I would say Graveler. I think Graveler's way better. So overall, his placement is fine. It's just it's the Sandslash one that now comes around full circle. Why is Sandslash an A tier if they're low? That
Magneton is an S tier Pokemon. This is really good, especially before they did the Steel nerf, and I want to say Gen 6. Steel is a disgusting type. You don't resist water type moves still, so you know you're still taking decent damage, but it's relatively bulky, it's decently fast, and it's just super strong. I would put this above Tentacruel actually, specifically because this game has Wallace and Juan. This really helps against the Kingdra as well, because you can teach it Shockwave. Dodrio,
not even Shockwave, Thunder. Because both Wallace and Juan both want to set up Rain Dance, so you just Thunder it. Easily.
Dodrio is okay. I think I would prefer Raichu over Dodrio in Safari Zone like 9 out of 10 times, unless I already had an electric type or something. Oh, the other good thing about Magneton is that you can pretty much guarantee catch it, so maybe Raichu.
You can't guarantee it. You can Repel and Hope. I don't think you can guarantee Repel for it. I'll like look that up on the side while I listen, but that note about guaranteeing it, I don't think it's true.
She's not quite as good because of that, because you can always just get this. But Dodrio is fast, it's strong, but actually because we have a flying normal type that we can get instead of this that is significantly better, I'm going to put it even lower in B tier, but it's not a C tier encounter. Muck. Muck means that this is what you're getting in Fiery Path, and you're also not getting coughing or wheezing, so I think this is pretty low tier. I think it's much better in later generations. This is, yeah, I mean, it's a good special defensive wall, I suppose. I think I would prefer most of the other Pokemon in Fiery Path over this Pokemon. So low C.
I think the poison types just don't do great in Emerald. There's just too much ground and psychic attacks.
Tier. Electrode is it's very fast. It's got Explosion. Don't be afraid to blow up your Pokemon in Nuzlocke. This essentially makes Tate and Liza really free if you just blow up on their first 2 Pokemon with this thing. Great sacrificial lamb, this Pokemon. Weezing is definitely better than Muck. I mean, the ground type immunity is really nice. It's very defensively bulky, but it just can't really deliver too much damage in return. And again, I think I'd prefer like Camerupt or Torkoal here over...
Fire types? What? Ground and water weaknesses over ground immunity and physical tank? I don't know about that one, Chief. Maybe Ruby Sapphire, absolutely, but Emerald, I'm gonna disagree there. I think Weezing is a great Pokemon. B-tier is fine, but
Weezing in Fiery Path, I would say something like this. They're pretty. It's a solid encounter for sure, but because we don't have lefties in this game, really, because I mean, unless you get pickup and cheat and use pickup, but like, yeah, it's just it doesn't have reliable recovery. It doesn't hit that very hard because Sludge Bomb is physical. Yeah, just not an amazing Pokemon, but it's solid. You could do a lot worse. Rhydon is better than Graveler and Golem in every single way, but
Rhydon this
again, because you're getting it so late and you're predominantly facing special attackers and water types, I don't know. It's not that good. I would rather get some of these other Safari Zone Pokemon than Rhydon. So
I would put it below Golem just because you can have Golem for Watson. That's my thing. He didn't really talk about Golem for Watson. Well. It's fine. Rhydon's good.
Seadra. We'll separate Seadra and Kingdra because not everybody can get Kingdra. Seadra it's maybe a little bit better than Golduck. Maybe. I don't actually know if that's true. I think it might be a little faster. Something like that.
Okay, so real quick, I just checked. You cannot guarantee Magnemite over Voltorb. There's no way to guarantee it. The levels are the exact same, so you can't like repel and hope for a Magnemite. It's a 50-50 chance for both, and they're both levels 22 through 26, so it is a hard coin flip. It's just a super hard coin flip. The basement of it? Apparently you can get a Magneton, who's also level 26, though. So yeah, there's no way to guarantee. Even in like Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, there's none. Yeah, or not Ultra Sun, Oras. Even though Oras, there's no confirming.
It's a pretty average water type. Seaking is a below average water type. If you're gonna do a Swift Swim encounter, then you're gonna want Seadra. So let's actually put this in like low C tier.
I was scared he was gonna put it in B tier. I was like, dude, no.
This is a very mediocre Pokemon. It gets much better once it gets access to physical waterfall because Seaking has better attack than special attack for some reason. But I mean, I guess you can spam Horn Drill if you want. Don't get this Pokemon. Starmie is also S tier. Starmie is an S tier Pokemon.
Seadra does not get Swift Swim, so ignore that one note. That Seaking or Kingdra does, so that's why like that's I actually thought so too. So that's not like shade. It has Poison Point instead. Actually, maybe I don't even think he just said anything about Swift Swim. I think it's just a bulky water type. But Seaking does. So Seaking does get Swift Swim, but it's like the worst Swift Swim user ever.
Honestly, Starmie is better than all of these. It's bulkier than Alakazam. The speed difference, it's a little slower, but it really doesn't matter because you're not really getting outsped by things anyways. Phenomenal stab coverage in Psychic and Surf. Another great Ice Beam user. This is a better Ice Beam user than Tentacruel. Filthy Pokemon. It can get Recover. The one thing that you have to be careful about is that once you evolve it, you have to be very careful with its moveset because if you lose Recover or Psychic on it, then you can't get it back because it's a Stone evolution. So you have to be a little bit careful with that, but this is a phenomenal Pokemon. Disgusting. And you can usually pretty much guarantee it by getting all the dupes from fishing in other places and then get this in Lily Cove or...
I actually don't even know what that means. What do you mean you can't get it back? Because it's a Stone evolution. Like you can't heart scale it? Is that a thing? Someone let me know. Can you not heart scale Recover back on Starmie? Because Starmie doesn't learn it? I thought you could. I actually I don't know. That's someone let me know that in the comments. Actually, I don't know.
Or in the Aqua Hideout. Pinsir, this poor bastard really got screwed before like Generation 4 and 5 when more moves became like physical and it started getting access to stuff. Not the worst bug type, but it's just Heracross but worse. It's okay, but no, we're not. No. I actually don't think this even gets a bug move in this game. So it's not even like it's that good against freaking Tate and Liza. No, this is a bad encounter. You're likely to accidentally have it run in the Safari Zone anyways. I'd much rather take many of these other Pokemon than this Pinsir. Sorry, Pinsir.
I wouldn't say bad. I would have left it in the B tier. It is like worse than Heracross because it's a bug fighting type, but not actually a fighting type. It just has fighting type moves, but also no Mega Horn. But like it's still strong as fuck. It's still so strong.
Sure. Gyarados, I mean, busted Pokemon, Intimidate, disgusting, really bulky, even without the physical special split, and it has to rely on like Return or Earthquake or whatever. This is a nasty Pokemon. Dragon Dance, like, I don't know. If anybody doesn't put this in S tier, then they're insane. Really easy to guarantee any electric type moves that the opponent has. So yeah, this is a disgusting Pokemon. No point in discussing this anymore. Crobat. Crobat is another normally S tier Pokemon. In this game, I'm gonna put it in low or high A tier because its moveset is really, really underwhelming in this game. It does not get Crunch, it does not get Brave Bird, so you're stuck with Aerial Ace, and I want to say Poison Fang. There's no Cross Poison. That being said, you can get it pretty early, and it's very bulky for such a speedy Pokemon, so it's a very, very good Pokemon. The Ludicolo that Wallace has, it actually does really well into that if you teach it Aerial Ace, but other than that, you know, it's just missing out a little bit on these higher base power moves that it gets in later games. Lantern, I'll be honest, I've never really used Lantern in this game. It gets Volt Absorb, so that's pretty good. It can wall a lot of Wallace's team because of its water typing, as well as Juan's team, so it's solid. I think it's still better than all of these other Pokemon here, for sure, yeah.
Lantern Love, let's fucking go! He knows! Even without even using it, he just understands. Lantern's so fucking good, dude. Oh
Zatu is kind of a nothing Pokemon. It doesn't do anything amazingly, but it doesn't do anything poorly. It's kind of like a jack-of-all-trades sort of thing. You're very likely to get it in the Safari Zone, but again, it's not really doing much. I guess it has Wispash. It has Wish Pass, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else that it really does all that well, and it's surprisingly speedy, so that's good. So I'll put it around Raichu, I suppose. Blossom's a pretty solid Pokemon, surprisingly bulky either on special defense or defense. I want to say special defense. The downside, of course, is that there's like no good grass moves in this game. You're either stuck with Petal Dance or Magical Leaf. But in terms of the grass types that you have access to, there's really only one or two that are better than it. I think it's better than Vileplume, but it's not much better than these other Pokemon. I would put this in mid-B tier as well, something like here. You know.
That's fine, but I would say Petal Dance is a good grass type attack for like a while, even compared to like later gens. Like I still think like Petal Dance in Gen 3, like 70 base power with, I mean, how much does it have? Look at Bill. How much PP does it have? Because like Giga Drain sucks. You have 8 PP max. Like Petal Dance is 70 base power, so it's stronger and it has a lot of usage. I think that's great. I think Petal Dance is a great move. I would disagree on just that point there. Also, it's a great Chloroform Pokemon.
It's okay, and you can get Moonlight, you can do some decent damage, and it's really helpful into like Kingdra, for example, and stuff like that with Magical Leaf, if the Kingdra uses Double Team, right? Azumarill, normally a filthy Pokemon.
I actually don't even think you can get Magical Leaf. I'll also take a look at that.
Because of huge power and Waterfall, but in this game, it's not that good. It's just too slow, and you can't take advantage of huge power because all of its water moves are special in this game. I honestly think that it's not as good as these other two water types. The one benefit is that you can usually get it earlier than these. Actually, because of that, it's bulky enough that it helps into Brawly, which can be kind of a wall in early game, and it helps into Roxanne, obviously, if you take Torchic. So that's actually much more usable than these Pokemon. So I'll put it in high B tier, I suppose. Wobbuffet?
So you can't get Magical Leaf in, or at least not that I can see, you can't get Magical Leaf, so that's real quick answered. Also for Azumarill, yes. Everything you said about is pretty much like yes. I agree with basically all of it. I usually rank it a little bit lower, but maybe I'm ranking it a little bit too low. Oh, okay, never mind. You can get Magical Leaf on Blossom. You just have to, what is it called? Move relearn it. Yeah, you have to move relearn it, so that's fine. Magical Leaf or Petal Dance. You can honestly just go with either. So another point that I would say actually makes Blossom's attacking moves as grass like not too bad.
You guarantee this Pokemon, so that's cool. You can always get this from the egg, why not? So that's nice. Wobbuffet's not as good in Nuzlocke as people might think it is, just because the AI rarely ever switches, so you don't really get anything out of Shadow Tag. And if you're playing on set mode, you usually have to bring the Wobbuffet in, take an attack, and then also tank another attack, which is really hard if you're playing around crits. So it's not quite as good as you might think, but Encore is obviously filthy. We'll put this in low B tier.
Wobbuffet's actually been a really interesting thing in my opinion recently. I'm using it in the Psylocke I'm doing of Emerald, and it is so awkward in set mode because you do have to switch it in on something, or you could like start against something, but you usually want it to fight like the scariest member of the team, which is last. So getting it in at the end is weird, but like having like Encore is the way to use it, honestly, because like some Pokemon just have random mixed attacks, so you Encore to make sure they continue whatever attack it is, but you're gonna take a lot of damage, and then you do like you Encore if they're using Tackle, then you counter. Obviously, if they're using Water Gun, you magical Mirror Coat, not Mirror Coat, yeah. Charm is great too because you can just neuter attacks as well. You can like use it outside of counter and Mirror Coat with Charm. Destiny Bond is there, but as I don't like suicide strats in Nuzlocke, so that's just like me. And then like Safeguard, I don't care about Safeguard. So it's like interesting support Pokemon, but it is like it's like so awkward to use because you have to take a hit and then dish back, but like it's good at that, but only for like one Pokemon exactly. So yeah. Also, real quick, this comment right here, Azumarill is actually one of the few water types for Flannery. I would not call that few. You get 3 guaranteed. You get one Marshtomp if you don't ban Mudkip. You can have Azumarill at that point, but you also guarantee yourself a Gyarados. You guarantee yourself a Tentacruel. You guarantee yourself a Seaking. You have 3 guaranteed. You can also guarantee yourself a Graveler if you just Rock Smash on the route right after Mauville if you didn't get one before. You can guarantee a lot of things, and Azumarill is like, it's great because you can like, if it has huge power, it's great with rollout. Like Defense Curl rollout on huge power Azumarill is really, really solid. So I just this comment stuck out to me. I was like, there's plenty of water types. I wouldn't give Azumarill credit for being a water type before Flannery because there's like 4
or something like this. It's not terrible by any means, and it can learn Charm. I guess because it can learn Charm, we can put it here, maybe. Something like that. I don't know. All right, Girafarig. Oh, man, buddy. I don't think you're that good. I mean, I guess actually you're quite good because you got Shadow Ball. Never mind. I take it back. Girafarig, my beat pony. You're high B tier simply because you make Phoebe completely trivial. You bring Girafarig, teach it Shadow Ball, kill Phoebe. There's nothing that they can do to it. There's other better normal types, I would argue. I would rather have Girafarig than Zatu simply for the Shadow Ball immunity. Heracross.
Girafarig is another one. I call it Girafarig, but that's another one I've taken to recently. I'm trying not to pause it as much as possible. This is gonna be a long video, sorry. But Girafarig, I like a lot too now. It's one of the few psychic types just because you have to fight a dark and a ghost type Elite Four member, which is like dissuading me from wanting to use it. But you can get it and be a psychic resist with Shadow Ball, and also its baton passing is the best out of any Pokemon I think ever. Because you can baton pass Agility and Calm Mind, and then you have like Shadow Ball 2 or like Crunch. It's Crunch too. So like the way I'm planning to use it, I'm not quite there. I don't have Crunch yet, but I like the way you should use it is like Agility, Calm Mind, Baton Pass, and like Crunch. Because you can like beat Ghost. You can beat Ghost types with it. You can beat other Psychic types with it. And then you just like set up Baton Pass and Agility and can pass it in, or you can set up Calm Mind and Agility and then pass to like anything that's not even, it doesn't have to be a scary special attacker. Like you can pass it to a Wigglytuff, and that Wigglytuff is now scary because it's like anything with like a really good coverage. You can, it's really good for that.
Cross is.
I agree with B tier. I could honestly throw Girafarig in A tier just for the baton pass, but I like B tier. I actually really like it a lot now.
It's an A tier Pokemon, even without close combat. There's very few Pokemon that have flying moves, so other than that, it's pretty bulky in special defense. Very strong Pokemon, relatively speedy. It can have Guts, which is obviously good. Teach it Brick Break, slap a Wide Herb onto it. You sweep Sydney. You can definitely sweep the Glacia Lady. Then it can also probably take care of a couple of Wallace's Pokemon if you need it.
Why does it look like
Macargo? That? Macargo is an F tier Pokemon. This thing evolves at level 38, meaning that you don't get this until very, very late in the game. Slugma sucks. Balls. No pun intended. Bad typing. It's not very strong. It's too slow. This is an F tier encounter. You get this instead of freaking Spinda or Skarmory on that one route, or instead of Torkoal in Fiery Path, and I would be pissed. Trash Pokemon, first F tier for sure. Corsola? Corsola's okay. But no, it's not.
Well, I was
This thing is
whoa,
bad.
dude, whoa.
You don't get it until late in the game. So, like, it doesn't do anything into the Elite Four. Never bring this Pokemon into the Elite Four. There is no reason for it. It's not even good into the Water-type champion because it's got the Rock typing, so it loses.
I will say, it hurts to see Muck and Pinsir. Really, Pinsir. Pinsir needs to go up. I can't look at him next to these guys. And, like, Graveler... The Graveler point still gets to me, and Pinsir needs to go up. It hurts. It feels weird for me to see Pinsir next to like these Pokemon. It's just like it hurts me inside.
Just to that, it's too weak to do anything. You're not outspeeding any of Drake's Dragon types to hit Ice Beam or Rock moves. So Flygon is earthquaking the hell out of this poor little bastard. Actually, this is another F tier encounter. Sorry, there's no point in wasting your time fishing for this. It's not good in this game. It's good in other games. Not this one. Skarmory, as always, S-tier Pokemon. In this game, it doesn't have Roost, so it's not quite as good, but it's very defensively bulky. They're very good into Tate and Liza, for example. Defensive wall that's fast and has immunity to Earthquake. Phenomenal Pokemon. Very, very good.
Tate and Liza's Solrock does have Flamethrower. You have to watch out for that, but he's right.
Seadra, great typing, especially without the Fairy type, so this is an A-tier encounter for sure. There is the downside that you can't get this without a trade, but if you're fine with trading or using ulterior motives to do the trade, then it's a very good Pokemon. Donphan, trash moveset.
I say S, but that's fine.
I don't think it even learns Earthquake by level up, if I remember correctly, so for that reason it's in B tier, but it is a very solid Pokemon if you want to waste your Earthquake TM on it. Again, you're going to get it pretty late in the game, and at that point, you're facing a lot of water types. You're facing against Tate and Liza, so it's really not that good. I'd actually argue that it's not even better than these ones now that I think about it. I think you always want Heracross if you can from the Safari Zone. All these other Safari Zone encounters are not that good. Sceptile.
So you actually don't have to worry about Earthquake. It learns Earthquake at 49, which is in the middle of your Elite Four, so yeah. I still just... I need him to pull Sandslash down. I really need him to pull Sandslash down.
Okay, all of these are pretty good Pokemon because they are starters. Sceptile is definitely the best of the grass types in this game because it has Leaf Blade, so it actually gets a high base power stab move, and it's very fast and relatively bulky and stuff. So I would put this in the A tier for sure. Better than these guys, something like this. Blaziken, one of the few fire types in the game, one of the few fighting types in the game if you don't get Medicham or Hariyama. So this is a very good Pokemon. This is a good choice as well. The bad thing about Sceptile is that you really have to rely on other encounters to deal with Watson. Watson is a huge issue, and if you go with Sceptile, then you're really, really in trouble because you don't have the fire type or fighting type from Blaziken that takes care of the Magneton, and you don't have, obviously, the ground moves from Marshtomp that makes it completely trivial. But this is still a really good Pokemon. Other than Watson, though, after that, it kind of falls off. It's not that useful in anything else because it takes super effective damage from Tate and Liza, takes super effective damage from the ground types that Maxie has, for example, the water types. Not super useful, obviously, into Winona. Pretty good into Norman, though, so I guess Norman as well, this is very good. Though I don't think you'll be getting Blaziken before Norman, so you're stuck with Combusken. But still, very, very solid Pokemon, obviously. Swamp.
I fully disagree with that. I think the more I've used Blaziken and stuff, then it's worse and worse. I could honestly put it in the C tier. You're stuck with Combusken for so long, and Combusken is bad. It is bad. It is not very good. Having the fighting type and fire type, like you have to EV pretty hard. Not like super, super hard, but you have to EV pretty hard to actually beat the Magneton on Watson's team. And Grovyle is just simply resistant and can hit it with Rock Smash. So without investment, Grovyle is doing fine against Watson. Not like amazing, but you have Screech and Rock Smash. Like you can do some stuff to it. So I agree with everything he said with Grovyle, but Blaziken is just up way too high. Because at the point, you still have Combusken for Norman too, and like you can bulk up sweep, sure, but like also what are you setting up on? What are you setting up on? Because the Spinda is going to hit you with side beams and going to kill you in like 2 hits. Hell, I could probably one-shot you because Combusken is just weak. Yeah, it's weak. And also, Roxanne, you're bad for because you're not Combusken. You're still Torchic because your level cap is 15. You're still Torchic. So you're bad for Roxanne. And then Brawley, sure, you're neutral. And then Watson, you're like decent. You're decent. Like you're something that can use Flamethrower, and that's kind of all it is. Like it's an option. It's pretty good. It's pretty okay for the Magneton. Like it's overall a pretty good option for the Magneton. If you want to EV, you'll take care of the Magneton. But that's it. That is it. After that, it hits a huge wall. I don't even think it's good for Norman. I don't think it's good for Norman really at all. It's, and this is again, like, not throwing shit at him. I disagree. I don't think it's very good for Norman. I think it's like, it's a fighting type for Norman, but it's the worst fighting type possible. And there's like other, just way better Pokemon I can think of for Norman than Combuskin. And after that, like, you never use it as a Blaziken. You don't use it for like 4 gyms in a row until you get to Elite Four and you fight Sydney with it. And Sydney is stupid easy. And then you fight 2 of Glacier's Pokemon with it. Like 2, because you're not going to one-shot the Walrein. And the Walrein's probably going to kill you with a Surf because you're squishy. So I don't think Blaziken's good at all. Honestly, if I made another revised list of Emerald, I would put it probably in the C tier. I don't think it's that good, like, at all. Ruby Sapphire is way better because you have Steven, which it's really amazing for, though.
Swampert is by far the best. Water Ground is a phenomenal typing in this game. As you can see, water types in general are very good, but in this game, Water Ground is very good because there are very few Pokemon that have grass type moves that you actually have to fight. So this thing is phenomenal. Stab, Earthquake, obviously. You get, again, it makes Watson completely trivial, which is otherwise incredibly difficult. I suppose, thinking about it now, that because Graveler and Golem are one of the only Pokemon that is good into Watson and that you can get early game, maybe these are high B tier, actually. Yeah, I think actually, now that I think about it, these are better than Donphan, explicitly because of Watson. That's the only thing.
Okay, this note is way better. They are also good for Norman. I should put it in the A tier. Okay, so that's just like a little oversight he came back to, though, so we're good. You can. So this comment right here, this little puddle, whatever this is, you can't get Geodude without Rock Smash. It is in Granite Cave. You can get it in Granite Cave. It's not the most likely thing encounter, but you can get it in Granite Cave. So remember that. Remember, you can get it in Granite Cave, and if you get it for Watson, free. Flannery, free. Norman, easy. Not free, but easier. Way easier. Even with like pretty good.
Thing they're good for. Mightyena.
Sandslash still needs to calm down. He did say he should have put them both in A tier. So imagine they're both in A tier.
Because of how ubiquitous it is, how easy it is to get, is actually quite good. I'm gonna put this in A tier. That might be kind of weird, but it's got Intimidate. You pretty much can guarantee it because it's in so many routes. Dark type is actually quite good into Tate and Liza, who can be really, really difficult. So if you just keep this thing around, use it when you need to get an Intimidate off, and then just have it, sit there in front of Tate and Liza, Solrock, and Lunatone, is actually a very useful Pokemon.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
What it is, it's pretty weak, and it sucks that Crunch is special attack in this game, but you can teach it Shadow Ball if you want, if you don't have a better opportunity. Pretty solid Pokemon. Linoone, if you've seen my video, one of my first videos, you can set up a guaranteed sweep of the Emerald Elite Four with Linoone and Belly Drum. More or less guaranteed. It's almost impossible to lose. This, I would say this is an S tier Pokemon. It's also just good in general. It gets early access to Headbutt, so it does decent damage. You get pickups, so you can get a lot of more useful items. Yeah, this is a really easy Pokemon, and theoretically, if you keep this thing alive and you don't mind cheesing the Elite Four, then it's a guaranteed Elite Four. You should go check out that video. I'll put a little card thing here, there somewhere. I don't freaking know. Beautiful.
So you guys have seen me not put Linoone in S tier, just because I think it is not S tier until the Elite Four, and that is a big deal to me. And it's not even the Elite Four. You have to keep it as a Zigzagoon for a long time, which makes it even worse until the Elite Four. So it's like, my criteria, I can't rank things that high, but I won't argue with the S tier. That's fine. Like, it's still like a good Pokemon, like a B tier or A tier. And for the early game, majority of the game, it's like, I'd say it's like a pretty good B tier Pokemon. Early Headbutt is great. Like, I don't think it's like as good as Raticate is like early game, but it does have like the Belly Drum stuff for the Elite Four is legit. So I'm not gonna I won't argue it. I place it differently, but that's because the way I value, or the way I view, not value, the way I view the H tier and tier list is different. So like my B tier is like the inconsistent, good sometimes, bad sometimes, and Linoone is there because it's like it actually can solo the Elite Four, but it can't do that much for the rest of the game. It's like pretty good for the rest of the game, so like that's why. But him putting in S tier, that's fine. I won't really disagree with that. It's a good Pokemon. It's a good encounter.
Fly, sorry buddy, Beautifly. It's not F tier because it evolved so early and it is okay early game, but it's pretty low down there. And 9 out of 10 times I'm gonna want Dustox over Beautifly. Dustox is A tier actually, I would argue, because of the matchup into Brawly. This thing resists all of Brawly's moves by ×4. If you can get Dustox, it makes Brawly a breeze. Beautifly is still B for Brawly. You know what? I think Beautifly, that's fair. That's fair. We can put Beautifly in B for Brawly. Again, Dustox has a little bit more viability with like later in the game. Can also even kind of be okay into Watson if you need him to be. Beautifly's definitely not as good, but you're right. That's my bad. I'd rather have him than Azumarill for Brawly, I think. You're right. Thank you, chat. Thank you for keeping me honest. I forgot. Look at this Wingull sprite. What is this? That's a fake sprite. That is not a real sprite. Look at this thing. Ludicolo. I think in later gens, this is one of the...
He ranks Brawly as a harder fight than I do. And I guess he does rank the niches pretty high, which is it's just unfair. That's fair. Actually, I think that's fair. Like, I'm sure he's going to put Sableye really high, actually. And that's fair. Like, I feel like niches... I rank niches usually in C tier, like, oh, they're good, they're like great for this one gym, but that's it. I like the Dustox placement, honestly. Dustox is really good. I think I have it like B tier. I could throw it. A tier's fine. It drops off super hard, while like Mightyena and Linoone don't. But it's good. It's very solid. Does he have Dustox? Does he have Beautifly actually in B tier though?
The best encounters you can get, Water Grass game, can also even kind of be okay into Watson if you need him to be. Beautifly's definitely not as good, but you're right. That's my bad. I'd rather have him than Azumarill for Brawl.
I would not put it B tier. That is a huge stretch to me. Just like that's just like tiering differences though. Like he will value that one fight. If they can kind of solo one fight, then he puts him high. He also that's like why Sandslash is there, because it's pretty good for Norman. I still think it should not be up there, but he also just ranks the Brawly fight harder than I do. I don't think it does. I don't think Brawly's hard at all, like really at all. He can if you're like, to be nice, dumb, but you can. It's so easy to guarantee yourself a perfect matchup against Brawly, like near perfect. So I don't think Beautifly is like, like you guarantee Tentacruel or resist. You can guarantee. There's just so much things. There's so many things. So that's just like fight. Like I think one fight is easier than he thinks this fight is. So that's fine.
Brawly, I think you're right. Thank you, chat. Thank you for keeping me honest. I forgot. Look at this Wingull sprite. What is this? That's a fake sprite. That is not a real sprite. Look at this thing. Ludicolo. I think in later gens, this is one of the best encounters you can get. Water Grass is a really good typing. In this game, because you have to keep Lombre until after the 7th gym before you can get a freaking Water Stone, this thing is not nearly as good, but it's very good into Wallace. Giga Drain and just Surf and Ice Beam, pretty good from this thing. I think this might actually be better than Sceptile, if I'm being honest, because of the water typing. Do I think that? Yes. This is...
I would agree. The point about Lombre is legit. That's why I usually pull it down. I think one of my last lists, I think I did have it a little too low. It is A tier. When it's Ludicolo, it's probably at like A tier / S tier. Swift Swim, Water Grass, amazing typing, amazing stuff. Yeah, great. But until then, Lombre is doo-doo butt cheeks.
This is a good encounter, but it's only good in late game. It's pretty much dog shit for the first part of the game. You're never using this into any... I think because of that reason, Sceptile is more viable, because this is trash for the first like 6 games. But in the late game, it's quite good. Shiftry, Shiftry's an F tier encounter. I'm trying to think of a reason that this is good. I guess technically it's solid into Tate and Liza. Yeah, just explicitly because of Tate and Liza, it's not horrible into Lunatone and Solrock. It takes advantage of the chlorophyll if Solrock sets up the sunny day. It's got that, I suppose. It's decent special attacker. It's a fine Pokemon. All right.
I'm a hard disagree there. Shiftry is great. That's just That's just me. I don't see what's weak about it. Even like the Nuzleaf thing, like you get it, you can evolve it by Winona, which you don't want to use it for, but like great attacking stats for both, decent speed, and then it's amazing chlorophyll, like full on offensive Pokemon. It's not the best grass type, but being grass and dark, like the dark, it's a great dark type, and dark typing is so useful for the game. It can poop on Liz and Tate. Tate and Liza, Tate and Liza, Tate and Liza, Tate and Liza, Tate and Liza. Does he say Tate? Does he say Liz and Tate too?
In the late game, it takes advantage of the chlorophyll if Solrock sets up the sunny day. It's got that, I suppose. It's decent special attacker. It's a fine Pokemon. All right, day. It's got that. It takes advantage of the Tate and Liza. It's not horrible in.
Okay, he said Tate and Liza. I'm the only one who says Liz and Tate like in Moron. I would just set up Sunny Day yourself, man. I don't know. That one hard to. I just hard disagree with that one. I think Shiftry's way better than he thinks it is.
Lunatone and Solrock. It takes advantage of the chlorophyll if Solrock sets up the sunny day. It's got that, I suppose. It's decent special attacker. It's a fine Pokemon. All right, baby boy Swellow, my boy Blue. This is an S tier encounter. I would be willing to nope because Gyarados is guaranteed. But I would be willing to argue that if you get this thing, it makes the game almost completely trivial. Give it some attack IVs, pre-poison or pre-burn it from Guts. So you just get an instant +1 attack. You use Facade, whatever you want to call it. You use that, you can sweep through almost the entire game. Really, really just busted Pokemon because of how fast it is. S tier encounter. Pelipper, not as good as it is in later games, and it's not quite as good as it is in Diamond and Pearl and Platinum because of the physical special split. It doesn't get Air Slash. It's just a little too weak in this game. There's much better water types and much better flying types, so I'm going to put this in high B tier. All right, Gardevoir. If you get lucky...
I think Pelipper is bordering on S tier. I think it's so good. It's so useful. Even though his stats aren't amazing, his typing and ability to have Shockwave on a water flying type is so good. It's so good. B tier is not horrible. It's not like the most amazing stat, and there are other water types, but I don't think they really outclass it too, because I think it just does. Just having Shockwave on a water flying type is just like so good. You can have a full team of like other water types, and Pelipper just does something different. Except for like Starmie. Starmie is like the one Pokemon that also has electric coverage, but. Yeah, I think I put it in like A tier. I think it's definitely A tier. So I think it's underrating it a little bit.
Lucky enough to get Gardevoir, this is pretty good. It's not as good as Alakazam. I don't even know if it's as good as Kadabra. Actually, it's probably better than Kadabra. I would put this in an A tier. Strong, fast, special attacker. Actually, I don't. It might even be better than Alakazam. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm actually gonna put this in S tier. And we're going to change this order a little bit here. We're going to do this. This is a psychic type that is really strong and really powerful. You get it very early in the game, and I think it learns Calm Mind early in the game too, like level 30 or something. This is a really good Pokemon that can do devastating amounts of damage very early in the game. So yeah. All right, Masquerain is not in Pokemon Emerald.
That is interesting. Better than Alakazam is a hot take. I think S tier is also a hot take. I think A tier, because Alakazam is S tier because if you're using trade, you can have it at level 16. That's why I think it's S tier, honestly. Other than that, if you're not using trade evolution, and you're using like at least the ROM randomizer thing. What is it? Oh, I'm trying to. Randomizer that you can edit your ROMs with makes impossible evolutions possible, and so evolves level 37. And I don't think that would be an S tier either. I think if you're playing with trade evolutions and you can get level 16, then it's absolutely S tier, like absolutely S tier. Gardevoir S tier is I don't really care that it gets level Calm Mind at 21. Like, what are you setting up on? You have to build a team around it. Hard, I feel like you have to build a very hard team around trying to get a Gardevoir to Calm Mind setup sweep. Which is it like when Curlia does it, even then, like when it's Gardevoir, I think it's super strong. It's super strong, like A tier. I would say A tier, but like having Calm Mind early isn't as amazing as it sounds because it's hard to set up because Curlia is just so frail and honestly slow. You're just gonna be taking too much damage the entire time, so you have to like set it up really hard. Like if you want to baton pass something to it, you just baton pass Calm Minds from Girafarig and then send it over to Gardevoir. Gardevoir shouldn't be using Calm Mind itself. In that case, like if you're trying to give like agility or something, and other than that, like when it's Gardevoir, it can be kind of speedy. When it's Curlia, it's just not that speedy. It's not that bulky either. It's not that bulky at all. Its special defense is good, but its HP is not that good, and its defense is bad. So I wouldn't call it bulky. I would not call it better than Alakazam. I think it's A tier, but it is strong. So we agree that we both agree it's a strong Pokemon.
But it is technically in Ruby and Sapphire, so I can rate it here. It's not totally useless, obviously, because you've got Intimidate on it, but it's Bug Flying, which is trash. It's not a good Pokemon, and it's like a 2% encounter rate or whatever, so you're very unlikely to get this. It's almost not worth ranking, but like, I don't know, it's fine. Breloom.
Intimidate carries it a lot. Typing kind of sucks, but Intimidate carries it a lot. I think C tier is fine, though.
Breloom's an S tier Pokemon. This completely trivializes Watson for the most part. You can teach it Bulk Up very early. It's got Mach Punch. It's got Leech Seed. It doesn't really need its Grass typing, but it's a very good fighting type. And honestly, just Mach Punch and Bulk Up is very, very, very deadly. Let's actually...
I agree with that, yeah. Breloom's kind of nuts. 130 attack stat, too, at level 24 with Stab Priority Attack. And, like, Stun Spore, Leech Seed... You could even do, like, you can even delay evolution forever and then get Spore at the end game. Breloom is nuts. It is absolutely nuts. I agree with S tier.
Actually separate these two
Absolutely
here.
Agree.
Because there's an argument to be made to not evolve your Slaking or your Vigoroth. Because Vigoroth is a very fast Pokemon and does a lot of damage, and you don't have to deal with Truant. So because of that, I would actually put this in high B tier. It's not amazing, and there's a lot of other normal types that are really good, like Linoone, for example. You'd have to not have Linoone to keep this on the team, but it's still really strong and relatively bulky and pretty fast. And it has...
I don't think you have to not have Linoone to keep it on team. Like, I feel like normal types is something you can so easily stack because you're just adding another fighting type weakness, but like, especially in Emerald, you're already past the fighting types, so like, who cares? Stack normal types, don't do it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, especially if they're doing something different. They both set up. Vigoroth's a great like bulk up setter because it has like Slack Off in Encore, and it's a normal type, so it's got some great coverage there. I think Vigoroth B tier is great. I usually don't rank it aside from slacking. I probably should. I think it's great. I just think that comment of like stacking normal types. I don't think there's an issue with that at all.
Has Vital Spirit, so you won't fall asleep. So that's pretty...
Vital Spirit, ignoring sleep is great too.
Chill. Slaking, you need to know how to use it. If you're playing on set mode, if you're playing on switch mode, this thing is an S tier encounter, but we're gonna leave it in A tier. It's definitely better than this. Something like this. Yeah, just gotta be careful that you don't accidentally leave it into Truant on turns where like
the dude is basically it's a Groudon. You're running with a Groudon that can only attack every other turn, but like it's still a fucking Groudon.
Your opponent can set up or heal for free or stuff like that, right? So there's a lot of ways that you can screw up with this Pokemon, but if you pull it off, obviously it's a really good bulky Pokemon.
It is pretty hard to use, that's for sure, but I like A tier.
All right, Ninjask. I will rank these going off the idea that you can only keep one of them, and if you're gonna keep one of them, freaking keep Shedinja. Ninjask is not very good, especially in this game. You just don't have any good ways to deal damage. It's super frail. It's worse than Masquerain, that's for sure, because at least Masquerain has Intimidate. I could argue an F tier, but yeah. Actually, this is F tier. It's very fast, but it doesn't matter. You're not doing enough damage. Like, pick a different Pokemon. Give it some speed.
I think just Baton Pass and Speed Boost and Swords Dance keeps it out of F tier, guaranteed. Like, that puts it at least C tier. I could probably put it B tier just because I think Baton Pass is really strong. And Swords Dance, but I guess he is going for the opportunity cost kind of thing, and you can just guarantee yourself Shedinja, so that's fine. That's kind of why I say Vileplume is like don't do it tier, because you could just do Blossom, which is just strictly better. So it's kind of like that scenario again. So I think it's fine. I won't argue that.
EDVs, it's not worth it. Shedinja obviously is an S tier Pokemon. If you don't know what Shedinja's deal is it's a Pokemon with 1 HP, but it has Wonder Guard, meaning that it can only be damaged by like weather and stuff like that, as well as super effective moves. If you take advantage of that, you can get free switches, you can completely wall certain Pokemon. It's a very busted Pokemon. There's a reason that a lot of people ban this. I will say here, if it's your first time Nuzlocking, don't ban any Pokemon. Just do it with all of these busted Pokemon and just make sure to have some fun, right? Don't feel bad about using Shedinja if you want to use Shedinja, but it is a very broken Pokemon.
I'll agree with that. If you're doing a Nuzlocke for the first time, don't ban anything. Don't listen to us when we ban things. Don't ban anything. Just do it. Play Pokemon with a broken shit. Do it. Do it. Get your guaranteed Swampert. Get your guaranteed Gyarados. Get your shit in jail. Have fun. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Good. Yes. Do it. Absolutely yes tier. Ban that Pokemon.
Exploud. Exploud is an F tier Pokemon. This is a terrible Pokemon. Just trash. There are so many better normal types. It's too slow. It's not very bulky. It's got good HP, but other than that, not very bulky. Completely screwed by the physical special split. This Pokemon sucks. This is a terrible Pokemon. I've never been able to make this Pokemon work. It does have soundproof, I guess. Cool. The wild Jigglypuff that you sing isn't going to put you to sleep. Whoop-de-frickin-do. Don't use this Pokemon. Sack it if you need to. It's best for a sack. Hariyami.
That was an amazing meme. Damn, he went in on Exploud. I don't think it's that bad, dude. I think it's better than Wigglytuff, but like, it's C tier. I don't think it's that bad. He went in. Poor Exploud.
Pretty solid Pokemon. Fighting type is pretty good. I'll put this in A tier. It's not as good as Blaziken. It's not as good as Machamp if you get it. Actually, because of Thick Fat, that can really help. If you manage to get Thick Fat, it can really help against Flannery, and it's also really good into Norman. I'm losing my words here, but really good into Norman. Nose Pass, I don't know if I've ever used this.
I think it's better than Machamp because you have Belly Drum and Thick Fat and stuff, but yeah, where do you put it? I was like looking away for a second. Where do you put it again? Top of A tier.
If you manage to get Thick Fat,
yeah,
it can really help against Flannery, and it's also really good into Norman. I'm losing my words here, but
it's also, you evolve into Hariyama at the level cap for Watson, so that's another great thing. Like it's really Guts, great ability. Thick Fat, great ability for it's amazing. I honestly think Hariyama's S tier because I like Resto Berry, Belly Drum. You can do belly Drum, Rest, Chesto Berry, Brick Break, and then like other move like Earthquake or something. Just return, sure. Body Slam, roll out, like move. Anything, I think is great. I like A tier though. I think it's got some amazing early game matchups. Amazing versus Watson, Flannery, Norman. It's like one of the few bulky Pokemon that actually probably can set up bulk ups on Norman's Pokemon, because like Norman's Pokemon hit hard. Even the Spinda hits pretty hard, but this thing's bulky, dude. It's bulky.
Really good into Norman. Nose Pass, I don't know if I've ever used this Pokemon. It's pretty difficult to get. It means that you're going to delay your encounter until you get a Mach Bike and then go and Rock Smash and get lucky in Granite Cave. And there's so many better encounters in Granite Cave than this Nose Pass. This is probably an F tier encounter too. It's kind of mean, but poor Nosy. Delcatty, Delcatty, I would argue, is another F tier encounter. Terrible Pokemon. Honestly, worse than Exploud. You have to use a Moonstone on it, so that's dumb. So you don't even get it that early. Very weak. It's just like, it's just trash. It's useless early game. This is a terrible encounter. F tier for sure. Sableye, yeah. It's just not good.
I've tried to make
it's it not good. You can guarantee ghost types elsewhere.
It's bad.
Like you don't need Sableye. Sableye is a C tier encounter. It's not a good Pokemon. The one thing I'll say is that it's actually quite good into Brawly. Like if you manage to get it, Brawly literally can't touch Sableye. So because of that, I don't know. We'll put it in B tier, like above Beautifly. But
so he's saying probably should have gotten A tier also. So like I'm pulling his list and I'm throwing it to the side with his corrections. So Golem, Graveler, and Sableye now are on the A tier. I'll show that at the end and probably like move things around that I would have moved. You know. Based on his criteria before, this note makes a lot of sense. I was surprised when he's like, you know, being able to solo Watson or Brawly, and then also being able to solo like Norman's Linoone and being great for Norman. I think it would be pretty high. That's probably why he has this note saying to put it in A tier. So I think that's just like something he didn't think about when he's recording, and he goes back and edits and he's like, wait a minute, it can do this. So it's actually there. So like, I think it's like B tier. C tier, B tier. He was kind of going in on at first, dude. I was like, wow, its stats suck. Its stats suck. It is purely a supportive Pokemon for its typing and not having weaknesses and being a ghost type early. That is purely what it is for. Its stats are poopy. Poopy doo-doo, butt cheeks, butt smelly poop doo-doo.
The chances that you get it are pretty low. I guess if you're playing Sapphire, you have better chances, but Mawile is a bad Pokemon. Sorry, buddy. I think I'd rather have... It's still a Steel type, and it still has Intimidate. So it's actually... I guess we'll put it in high B tier. It's a little bit above Sableye here. Obviously not good into Brawly, but Intimidate is decent. When are you using this? I guess into Norman, and at that point, it's probably the only Steel type you can get unless you get lucky and get Skarmory. Yeah, mid B tier, something like that.
I'm sorry, it's cracking me up that he's like, this thing sucks, and he's pulling it straight to B tier. I'm like, oh. He's right though. The Steel type with Intimidate is cool, and then like Iron Defense, Baton Pass, and Emerald specifically, you can't get it till Elite Four until Safari Zone. Not Safari Zone, until Victory Road. So it's pretty poopy doo doo. I throw it in like C tier as like an end game, last ditch Intimidate, last ditch Steel type, Iron Defense, Baton Pass Pokemon. Which actually isn't even a horrible strategy, so it's like niche. The B tier is like fine. If you can get it like early in Ruby, it's actually pretty solid. So the fact that he's doing not just Emerald but also Ruby and Sapphire and takes into consideration all of the games definitely changes things. Like Mawile and Ruby is actually pretty solid. Intimidate Steel type at that point in the game, oof, that's good.
I don't know. Okay, well, I was wrong about that being the only Steel type that you can get because you can get Aggron. I think Aggron is a really good Pokemon, but because the level cap in this game is so low for the Elite Four, you're actually not getting Aggron until the Elite Four, maybe against the 8th Gym Leader, and at that point, you're facing a lot of water types, so this Pokemon isn't as good as in some games. A lot of the Elite Four is special in these games. This is really not helping that much, and Lairon is a little too weak to do much damage into anything else. It's pretty good into Tate and Liza, if you can get rid of the Claydol. I don't know. I can't put this in A tier. I can put this in high B tier, which is a bit odd because it is just a really good Pokemon. No, you know what? We'll put it in low A tier, and it's better than Dustox. I mean, come on. So yeah, we'll put it in low A tier for sure.
So it evolves to level 42, which means you can have it for Tate and Liza, I believe. Gyms. Actually, that's a very good note. Level caps are pretty low in Emerald. Which is like makes the game harder, I think. You can have it for, yeah, you can get Aggron exactly at Tate and Liza. Which is funny. On Cerebi they call it Liza and Tate. That's awkward. But yeah, you can get it exactly for Tate and Liza. You have to very much worry about the Claydol, and you have to worry about Solrock's Flamethrower. So I wouldn't call it good here. Its moveset is bad. You're running with Iron Tail or Metal Claw for stab. And then, like, your Rock Stab is Rollout or nothing. It's Rollout or Rock Tomb. Like, you don't get moves on this thing at all. You don't want to teach it Earthquake. The Elite Four kind of poops on it. It's like... What's it even good for? I don't even know. It's like, good for Phoebe, I guess. No, because Phoebe has, like, random Earthquake coverage on, like, 2 of her Pokemon, I think. Yeah, I don't think Aggron's that good at all. I think Aggron's pretty bad, honestly. Ruby against like Steven is probably better, but even Steven has a bunch of Earthquake. I just think it's pretty bad. I think his typing just really sucks. Personally. Later games though, it's probably good. Like it's got great stats, massive defense, and like Steel type really should be good, but yeah, I just think it gets clapped by way too many matchups in Emerald.
Medicham, very good Pokemon. Huge power or pure power or whatever, very, very good. I would argue that this is the best of the fighting types because you have huge power and you're relatively bulky and you're decently speedy enough. You can also go the special route if you want, which means you can take care of Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, and Ice Punch if you want, which helps into Drake a little bit. It can learn Calm Mind. I think it's the best of the fighting types for sure, other than Breloom.
Other than Breloom, best of the fighting types? Sure. I'm even using one in Emerald right now because I modded as my starter for my Psychic run. I think being Psychic type is not the worst thing. I put it intermixed with all the rest of the fighting types. I don't think Blaziken's that good. I think Heracross is better, but you get at the same time as Heracross, so I think Heracross is probably better. Pure Power is a really good ability, so that's fine. Yeah, it's very solid. I don't think you should take the special route though. I think that's just, I would say no to that personally. I don't think it's worth it. Like I think you just always take a physical, teach it like Shadow Ball, Brick Break. Yeah, but yeah, it's very good. It's a very good Pokemon.
Other than
physical special split makes it so much better too. Like if physical special split, I would actually probably put it in S tier, because then you'd have physical, then you have like pure powered, massive attack, ice punch, and fire punch and thunder punch would be crazy. Maybe not S tier, but like A tier. It definitely gets better later in Generation 4 and onward.
Breloom, other than Breloom. Wow, we're getting to some rough ones here, guys. Manectric. I think Manectric is one of the better encounters that you can get on that route that has just like a crap load of Pokemon. So I'm gonna put this in high B tier. It's a little too frail, but it actually does really good into Wallace and into Juan because it's so fast and because it's relatively strong. So this is pretty good. I would argue this is better than Raichu. Maybe Raichu's better, but solid Pokemon. And you can get it earlier than these Pokemon, so it helps into like the random flying types and stuff too. Actually, because of that, yeah, let's put it at high B tier because you get it so much earlier. Plusle and
I like that. That's fine. Electric type's great. It's fast. It evolves really early too. Like 24 is a really great evolution time for it. So you're really fast. You're hitting pretty hard with like Spark for a long time until you get like Thunderbolt and Thunder. It's a very good electric type. I definitely think it's better than like Electrode and Raichu, but then worse than the other electric types. And I'm very, very curious on what he's gonna put about Plusle and Minun.
Minun are fine. One of them has Encore. I don't remember which one, but like whatever. They're okay. Thunderbolt is still Thunderbolt, and they're relatively speedy, so they're good into Winona if you don't get Manectric, but you should be able to guarantee Manectric with some dupes and stuff. So, all right, Volpe and Illumise, these are trash Pokemon. These are F tier.
Both of them get Encore. Both of them get Encore, right? No way. Yeah, they both get Encore. I don't know what's different between their move pools. I don't think anything. I've heard a couple of different people say this too, that there's like something different with the move pools. I don't think there's anything different. They both get Encore, which is awesome. They are fully evolved immediately, and their stats are like pretty comparable to Manectric. They're as fast. Plusle is about as strong, 85 special attack, and then Minun's a little bit less strong, 75 special attack. But like their support move with Encore, and you have a Baton Pass agility. You can do like Encore, Baton Pass agility, and then send it to something slow that's really strong, like Swampert. You want a fast Swampert? There you go. Or like Magneton or something. They're the only electric types like ever for a while, at least in Gen 3, until like Pachirisu gets like support moveset that can be like electric type that's also supportive and good at that. So they're solid. B tier, I personally think they're the best electric types besides Magneton. But that's me. I won't argue with B tier. All the electric types are all pretty close together. I think it's like fair.
I'm sorry. Maybe one of them might have Charm or something, but like these are terrible Pokemon. I guess actually Illumise has Charm, so we'll put this around Masquerain, I guess. But these Pokemon suck. Don't. It's not worth it. I
would swap them. I think they're both bad, but I would swap them. I think Volbeat is the better one because it has Protect, and then you can use Protect Toxic to stall out Norman, and it gets Signal Beam, which is actually like pretty okay. So it's like the only stab bug type move you're gonna have for a very long time, which is like okay. So it's like it's got like an attacking moveset. Having Charm and stuff, I think Illumise is like support moveset just bad. I think they're both just bad. They're both like either F tier. They're like either the best F tier Pokemon. Although on his list, I would say like Ninjask and Exploud are about as good. They're like you can make a use with them. Kind of like they're bad, but you can do something with them.
Roselia is not in this game, unfortunately, but it is in Ruby and Sapphire, and if you get it, it's like bad version of this, I guess. It's actually worse than Vileplume. Who are we kidding? Put it here. Yeah. Sorry. And in that game, it's not even they're not even that good because you've got to fight Steven. So no. R.I.P. Swalot, good support moveset, pretty bad stats.
Swalot these nuts.
Honestly, so it's kind of B tier. If it was bulkier, if we had lefties, if it had reliable recovery, it would be better. But in this game, it's honestly not that good. It does have Yawn, makes catching Pokemon easier, but I think I'd rather have Manectric most times.
Yawn and Encore and Amnesia at that point. I think it's good. I think it's solid, but I would also agree B tier. It's got some Swalot's a great Pokemon, dude. It's a very versatile Pokemon. If it wasn't poison type, or if poison type wasn't so like hit so hard in Emerald because of just Psychic and a bunch of Earthquakes at the end, Swalot would probably be A tier because Yawn and Encore and its ability to do like you do like Stockpile, Spit Up, Swallow, which is still like a usable moveset in Gen 3, even though you don't get the boosted defenses. It's still just like you can do it. Stab, Sludge Bomb. It's got some great coverage with like Flamethrower, Ice Beam, and stuff like that. It can be full unsupported with Yawn, Encore, Amnesia, like Toxic or Rollout. There's a lot you can do with Swalot. I definitely like it, and I'm glad he gives it the respect of B tier that it deserves.
Instead of Swalot. Sharpedo.
Beautifly being B tier just still trips me out. It hurts. It hurts my brain.
Oh, Sharpedo is a high A tier Pokemon for sure. Not quite as good as some of the water types in S tier. But this is basically, if you train it right, then it makes Tentacruel really, really easy. It outspeeds the Zatu pretty easily, so you can kill the Zatu before it sets up Calm Mind. Stab Crunch, even though it's special, is pretty solid. Yeah, this is a high A tier Pokemon. This is really good, and it's pretty much guaranteed. Use this against Tentacruel. Wailord, Water Spout is cool, but it's too slow. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because you can max out its speed IVs, and then you can devastate damage, but it's not better than these water types. I wouldn't put it in A tier. I honestly think Pelipper is better because of the immunity and the flying type. It's a solid water type, but it's not better than these other ones.
It's a very solid water type. It's like a mix of a more offensive water type and a bulky one because it's a massive HP stat. And Water Spout is good because most of Elite Four is actually slow. Like relatively slow, so if you just like get a speed plus nature, or if you give it speed EVs and stuff, and even like Quick Claw, like you can do some stuff. So it's very solid. I think it's slept on for sure, but like it's around B tier. It's a very middle ground water type. It is guaranteed, and you get it earlier than some other water types. It's not like early game. It's like a mid game water type. You get it as soon as you get Surf. You can get it and guarantee it for like Winona and Tentacruel, where it's good there with Surf and Ice Beam and stuff.
Camerupt. Camerupt is decent. Earthquake and Flamethrower has really good coverage. I would put this in A tier. I would put it above Aggron, I think. You get it relatively early, and again, it helps with Winona. I don't think you get it before Norman, so actually...
It does not help for Winona. It helps for, like, the Skarmory, I guess. That's about it.
I think I'd rather have Leiron into Norman, so yeah, we'll put this in. I don't know. Maybe low A tier is too good for this. But you do get Earthquake pretty early. Torkoal is a really good Pokemon.
Flamethrower Earthquake is good coverage, but its typing being so quad, like Ruby Sapphire A tier, maybe I'd say B tier, but Emerald, you're so screwed against any water types. It's so you can't do any kind of niche against any kind of water types like ever. And I don't think it's good against Winona at all. Even though you can get like Rock Slide on it. When do you even learn Rock Slide on? Let me look this up real quick. Because I know it can learn Rock Slide. You can do like Earthquake, Flamethrower, Rock Slide at Camerupt. And have like a really good offensive move pool, but it's like not that bulky, super slow. I don't harp on quad weaknesses all the time, but being quad weak to water in a region that's just like the end game is like all water. You Rock Slide 33, is that even... You don't even get that for Winona. You can get... Okay, you do. You could have it for Winona, so that's like cool. So I guess it's okay for Winona, but... The Pelipper and the Altaria are gonna poop on you. Absolutely poop on you. So it's like good for like the Skarmory and like a couple of the Skarmories in the gym prior to that. I wouldn't say it's good for Norman, really. It's like, when does it evolve? Do you even have an evolved camera up by Norman, or do you still have a Numel? It doesn't even evolve till 33, so you don't even have camera up during Norman. So yeah, you're a Numel for Norman, which is bad. I would say that's just purely bad. Because you're Numel, yeah, Numel's really bad. Numel's really, really bad. Really cool Pokemon. Like I love its design, but it's bad. It's really bad. So once you camera up into Winona, you're fine. Tentacruel bad. Yeah, I don't think it's very good at all.
Pokemon, White Smoke is helpful, or it might be able to get Shell Armor in this game as well. I don't know. I would put it around here. It's definitely defensively bulky, and if you train it well, it can be a good defensive pivot, and Flamethrower hits pretty hard. Not as good since it doesn't have Drought, but something like this for sure. Grump.
I think Torkoal is the best fire type in the game, even above Blaziken, maybe, just because of its bulk and like its ability to be really good bulky pivot for a while. But same thing, I think just fire types in Emerald just drop off way too hard. In Ruby Sapphire, you have Steven Fight, which it's like actually good for. Like Torkoal's really good for that. So like to balance it out between the games, I could see B tier. I think A tier is still a little too high, but it is a great pivot and like stuff. If it did get shell armor, it'd be so amazing. White Smoke just makes it so it can't lower stats. Stats don't get lowered. So that's like okay. Kinda. I don't think much of the like boss fights or any important fights really lower your stats that much. They usually raise their own. So I think White Smoke's pretty useless there too. Later on with like Drought and stuff, Gen 7, I think is when it gets Drought. When does Torkoal get Drought? Torkoal gets Drought. Gen 7. Yes. Yeah, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Sun and Moon, that's when it... So, yeah. Then it's good. Like, it's a great Drought Pokemon. Shell Armor being hitting ability, yeah. I think it's a stretch, but its defense and being a defensive pivot is good for, like, Ruby Sapphire, but Emerald, nah.
Pig is a little too weak. It does have thick fat as well, so it can help into Torkoal and Flannery, but it's still a Spoink at that point. It evolves a little too late. Like if this thing evolved at like 28, then it would actually be very useful in this game. But because it doesn't, I would put this around here. I'd rather have these two. I'd rather have these guys. Yeah, this is fine, but you're probably gonna get this unless you get Machamp instead. So it's not a terrible Pokemon. It's just not quite as good as I wish it was. I really like this design though. It's a very fun Pokemon. Spinda is ass, except for the fact that it has own tempo, so that can be fine. Sometimes you can abuse that to get free swagger boosts, but it's just a little bit too blah. There's better normal types. Low C tier. It's not as good as this guy for sure. Flygon, resisting the urge to put it in S tier. It's not an S tier Pokemon. It evolves a little bit too late, and Vibrava is really painfully weak. And in general, Flygon is not as strong as it should be. If it had like 30 more special attack stats, or like 10 more attack stats, then it would be good, but it's honestly not that amazing. But, you know, it's still a good Pokemon. It's still a freaking dragon. It has Levitate. It has Stab Earthquake, so it's not bad. It's just, you know, it could be a little bit better. This thing sucks. It's like...
I think Flygon's maybe a little too high. That's probably a little bit of favoritism still kind of peeking through. I just don't think it's that great. Being a dragon is cool, but, like, being neutral to water kind of takes away the point of being a dragon. And Stab Earthquake is fine. It's fine. Not a lot of ground weaknesses in Emerald Endgame, so. But in Vibrava, the late evolution really just hurts. It's so bad. So I think A is a bit of a stretch. I think B is more accurate there.
It's the same thing. I mean, I guess this gets Needle Arm, which is kind of cool, but I think that's only 60 base power in this game. Don't use it. Altaria
Cactus sucks.
Also sucks. It does have Dragon Dance, so if you want a Dragon Dance sweep, I guess we can put it in low B tier. But this thing is bad. It's amazing that Winona's like Altaria was ever difficult, and that's only because it has Earthquake when your Pokemon are level 30. I can't put it in B tier. We'll put it in high C tier. It's especially defensively bulky, I suppose, but like, what are you doing with this? I don't know. Perish Song, maybe?
You're Dragon Dance sweeping with it. It's bulky, and it actually does resist water, so it's, like, actually good. Although the Ice Beams do scare it, but, like, they do that for Flygon, too, so... I think just the fact that it has Dragon Dance cannot put it in C tier. Because Dragon Dance is such a stupid good move. B tier, I would put it in A tier. I think Altaria is better than that. I think Altaria is better than Flygon, because, like, you have, like, Stab, Aerial Ace, and then, like, Teach It Earthquake, Teach It Return, Teach It Steel Wing, you know, like... You've got some moves for it. I think it's way better than he thinks.
Zangoose is like Vigoroth, but better or the same. I don't know. They're the same Pokemon. Savipe, I don't know. I don't have much experience playing with this thing. It's not good. If it had Intimidate like Chatterbach, it would be better. It's probably around where Muck is. Poison types aren't that good in this game, to be honest, especially because you're very likely to get Crobat, so just use Crobat. Lunatone, I believe.
I agree with both. Zangoose is pretty solid. It has like worse guts. No, it has immunity. It doesn't have toxic boost. It has immunity, so it can't get poisoned. So it's like, eh. So it's like, yeah, pretty good. And then Seviper is really fun, and its coverage is cool, but it's just it's too slow and not it's very frail. So that sucks. It's super cool, but bleh.
Leave is not in this game, but it is in Sapphire. They're solid, bulky Psychic types. Better than Roselia. Wait, why is Roselia in B? What am I doing? No. Okay, but this can be in B. It's better than Rhydon. And I think Solrock is in the game, and Solrock is really good. These are really good into Flannery, specifically, as long as you don't get crit, and decent into Norman. Whiscash is...
Norman has Feint Attack on everything, so I wouldn't say they're great into Norman. They're like fine for Norman for like pivoting reasons. They absolutely solo Flannery, like absolutely solo her with rollout. And then Winona also can get like pooped on by Solrock. And then Tate and Liza, they're very solid for that too. I think Solrock is actually really, really cool. You can take it to the Elite Four. I think Lunatone is better for the Elite Four just because it can learn Ice Beam and like completely poop on Drake. Honestly, it can like kind of poop on Drake, just with the rock resisting like flying type moves and normal type coverage and stuff. You have to watch out for like the crunches and things, but and then Lunatone can also do like Calm Mind Ice Beam. So I think Lunatone's better end game, but Solrock's better early game because high defense, good physical attack, and like rollout is just good. So I like them a lot. I think he gave them justice.
Is poor man Swampert. If you chose poorly and didn't bring Swampert, you can get Whiscash, but it's kind of ass. The good thing about it is, especially if you delay the evolution by a couple levels, you get really early Earthquake. That's pretty cool, but it's low B tier. And you know what? We're lowering this guy. Let's be real. He's not A tier. It's a Camerupt. But yeah, Whiscash.
I'm glad he lowered Camerupt. And Whiscash, you can get like Earthquake like level 36. I don't think Earthquake is like amazing. It is like a poor man's Swampert, but like way later. So like the amazing Swampert parts of like soloing Watson and Flannery and stuff have already passed, but it's still like pretty good.
Whiscash is high B tier just because of Earthquake, and it's okay. It's okay, but you don't have to waste your Earthquake TM on it, which is nice. Crawdont sucks. Crawdont sucks poop. I don't know if this is an F tier because water types are just really good. But yeah, don't use Crawdont. Don't use Crawdont. Yeah, actually, this is F tier because Sharpedo is significantly better in every single way. This Crawdont blows. I think maybe it can have battle armor, but like, who cares? This thing sucks. The physical special split was not kind to this. This is like worse Kingler. How are you worse than Kingler? This is like, yeah, it's better than Corsola, I guess, because you can get it kind of early, but this thing blows. Claydol's very good. Levitate.
It can have shell armor, which is cool, and it can also learn Swords Dance, so I would give that something. I'd put it a little higher than like F tier. I put it like C tier, maybe B tier. Like Mono Water, I would use it honestly, just because like Swords Dance, it could be like a physical attacker, and that's cool. And like Battle Armor is just like cool, but I wouldn't put it F tier. But like Sharpedo is definitely way better.
Is always good. Similar idea to Sandslash. Unfortunately, I would say Sandslash is a little bit better because it evolves into Sandslash and Claydol does not before Norman. Something like this. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention is that Torkoal learns Protect by level up, which means that it can completely wall Slaking as well. And so can Dustox, actually, so that's why they're A tier, because they make Norman Slaking super easy. But yeah, something like this. I don't know. Cradily.
I wouldn't put Gradily that high. I guess his justification for Sandslash being a Sandslash for Norman like makes it a little bit better, but I still wouldn't put it A tier. The Claydol A tier, I just don't think ground types are that good. But like Ruby Sapphire, actually sure, I could put Claydol maybe A tier. Ruby Sapphire, maybe. It does get like Cosmic Power, pretty sure. So that's cool. Even like Calm Mind with it, so it's like pretty okay. But for Emerald, I would say no. I'd say no for sure, but that's fine. The points for Norman, I don't think Baltoy is good for Norman actually. Just like the random trainer with Wigglytuff that has Shadow Ball is gonna kill you, and like the random Fate attack is gonna like kill you. You're not taking them lightly.
Cradily, really cool Pokemon, not very good. Bulky, I suppose, maybe somewhere around here with Blossom, I suppose. And then Armaldo, Battle Armor Crit is avoiding is good, but this Pokemon is not good. It evolves super late. I think I would prefer Cradily simply because Cradily can kind of stall stuff with Ingrain, which is a little risky because you get stuck in, but like I think these guys are both not very good and they're both around somewhere here. Milotic.
That's interesting take. I mean, the late evolution hurts both of them. I think Cradily's moves just suck so bad. It gets like no good moves. While Anorith is a guaranteed encounter with Protect. so it can completely stall out Norman's Slacking, which also Pelipper can do. So like he made the point for like Dustox and Torkoal, but he did make the point for Sableye and Pelipper and Anorith too. Like there's a couple Pokemon who can do it. That's again it's not throwing shade at all. It's just like, I mean, I forgot about that too for a while, so that's fine.
Don't waste your time fishing for this thing. If you happen to get it, it's obviously a filthy Pokemon, but like, are you really gonna sit there and fish on every tile in that place? Very, very cool Pokemon, but I can't put it higher than like mid A tier. Like, it's a very good water type, but there's other water types that will basically do the same thing and won't make you want to smash your head into the wall, you know? So I don't know, something like here. Castform is bad because it has to set up.
Yeah, Milotic's really annoying to get to. But when you get it, it's so amazing. It's definitely A tier.
Its own weather. Bad. Don't use this. It's not a good Pokemon. Okay, Kecleon. Kecleon is reasonably...
I don't think Castform having to set up its own weather is that bad. I think it's out of F tier. It's got like a niche. You could be like a fire type with Ice Beam or something. There's like some interesting things you can do with it, but I mean, it's not good.
Especially defensively bulky, so it's not terrible, but it's just too weak to do anything. I'd put it like around Spinda. Its ability, Protean or whatever, is decent. Color change, that's okay. Bayonet, because Shadow Ball is physical in this game, it's not terrible.
I think Kecleon's actually really good. I think its attacks is pretty hard. Is pretty big. What is it attacking on? I'm pulling it up right now. It's very specially tanky, like huge special defense stat, and it's got like what 90 attack. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. And color change is so interesting and unique for like certain fights. You can get hit by an aerial ace in Winona's gym and then be immune to the earthquake, or you can get hit by a psychic, tank it. Now you're a psychic type and you're just resisting the other psychics, or you get hit by a water type, tank it, and then now you're resisting water and ice beam and stuff. So like it can do a lot. I think he's underrating it for sure. C tier. I put it like B tier. Hell, I could put it A tier. I think Kecleon's a lot better than he thinks. I think he's underrating it pretty hard.
Well, I would put it in B tier as well. Actually, it's probably the best ghost type, isn't it? It's like the ghost types in this game are not very good, huh? Yeah, it makes what's her name, Tate and Liza, a little bit better. We'll put it in high B tier. And honestly, same with Dusclops. Without Eviolite, it's too weak and it's like not bulky enough to be as weak as it is. But like ghost types are always really good. High B tier maybe kind of, let's put it in low A tier. Ghost types are really good because of the immunities. I'm conflicted. Where they are in the game, actually, you don't really need the immunities that much. Tropius, I wish was better than it is, but it's not. It's one of the only Pokemon that like can learn Fly though, and you know it's decently bulky.
So he has them there, and he's putting Tropius. So sorry to cut Tropius in the middle. The ghost types, I think B tier is fine. Sure, good for Tate and Liza, good for Phoebe, but I think Dusclops is pretty weak and it's not as bulky as it should be, but still very bulky. And I would put it above Banette maybe. Honestly, I don't even think they're that good at that point. By the time you get them, the immunities don't really matter because you just get like a dark type like teaching Mightyena Shadow Ball is just better at that point. It really is. Or like Absol. It's just better to teach like another dark type Shadow Ball than it is to use the ghost types at that point. You're just not using you're not using their immunities like at all anymore.
It's definitely not as good as Sceptile or Ludicolo. I don't think I'd even put it in A tier, but I would put it in high B tier for sure. No. It's not better than these guys. It's not better than this. It's not even better than these. I think I'd rather take Pelipper simply because Surf is better stab. I don't know. I wish Tropius was better. Chimecho, I don't know if I've ever used this in Emerald. It's a solid Pokemon, but like, not really. It's a solid Pokemon for you thinking that it's a piece of shit. But like, it's still a psychic type. But no, get the ghost types. Don't get Chimecho. Get Medicham. You don't want Chimecho. This is a C tier Pokemon for sure. All right, we're getting into some of the Pokemon that are like, oh, you like forgettable Pokemon? Here's 6 forgettable Pokemon. Absol is not forgettable because like children think it looks cool, but it's not a good Pokemon. I would rather have all these Pokemon. I'd rather have these guys. I'd rather have these guys. I'd rather have the electric types. Actually, because of how good it is into Tate and Liza, we'll put it up here. I think I would rather have it for Tate and Liza. That's true. Yeah. Okay. Glalie, cool Pokemon.
Tate and Liza and Phoebe, and honestly, Sydney too, and Swords Dance stuff, and I think he's underrated Gaps a little bit. A bit. It's a better Shadow Ball user. I mean, I throw it in A tier just because 130 attack and Swords Dance and like Shadow Ball, Strength, Aerial Ace are like all the moves you really need on it. I think you can learn Brick Break too. It cannot. You can do like Calm Mind stuff too if you want to, and you want to take it special. You could. You can. I don't think you should. I think you should just stick with the attack. It can be a little faster. So B tier is fine, I would say. It's definitely better into Tate and Liza and like Phoebe and stuff than the Ghost types are, for sure. Way better.
It's got like 80 base stats across the board, right? I think you're always better off with Wall Rain here, but it's kind of fast. If you're not going to bring a Water type with Ice Beam, then this with Ice Beam is good into Drake. I don't know. I'd rather have the Water type with Ice Beam. Honestly, I'd rather have Ludicolo. And it's kind of hard to get this. It's not very likely. You're more than likely to get Spheal. Something like this. Yeah. Wall Rain is very good. Thick Fat is not.
That's fine. That's fine. As an Ice Beam bot, it's a good Ice Beam bot. It is pretty fast. I guess in 80 speed of that against the Elite Four, which is usually pretty slow. It's pretty solid. It's not like super frail either. I usually put it like C tier. B tier is fine. I think it's fine. Actually. It's not maybe not as horrible as we usually say it is.
Nice. You get it kind of late, but it can wall the Kingdra pretty well. So I'm gonna put this in low A tier. This is a solid Pokemon. I think it's better than this guy, better than these guys, something like this. Yeah, Stab Ice Beam, nothing to laugh at for sure. These guys, you're never gonna. I don't know. They're not good. Are they better than Seeking? Nobody is ever gonna use these. I should have another category that's like, you're not using these. Why are you asking about these rankings? I think this has more special attacks, so we'll switch them. But Relicanth, you're also probably never going to use this. It's not good. It's a C tier encounter for.
I'm surprised it's not ranking Clamperl. Also, I think Gorebyss, if you get Gorebyss, it's got higher special attack and Swift Swim. So, like, it's pretty slow, but, like, Swift Swim is just, like, good. So, I put that a little higher. I could put that in B tier. I think I would put Gorebyss in higher in B tier. And then Clamperl is actually pretty solid because with the Deep Sea Scale or Deep Sea Tooth, you can have, like, massive defense or massive special attack actually and be like very, very, very solid. So I would put, I don't think he ranked Clamperl unless he gets to it later. I don't think he's ranking it, but I would put Clamperl for sure in like B tier, maybe even higher actually. Not A tier, but like B tier. Clamperl's actually pretty solid.
For sure. I'd rather have these. Grass types are a little rarer than water types. You're never going to use this when you could use another water type. Doesn't even have Head Smash. Yeah, no, you know what? This is... I might even put this in F tier, but yeah, because at that point in the game, there are so many better options. It's better than Corsola, but barely. Love Disc.
Yeah, you're really never using it. That's fair. You're never using it.
Sorry, buddy. This is not a Drayano ROM hack. You are a trash Pokemon. I guess you're fast. You can use Charm, so you're actually not 100% useless. Use Sweet Kiss. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Well, it's fast. It's fast. But it's so bad. No, don't use this Pokemon. Don't use this Pokemon. Here, it's better than these two, but...
Stop trying to justify it, man. Just stop. Stop trying to justify it. No, you can't. You can't.
Sorry, Love Disc. Salamence. I mean, if you get Salamence, it means you only got it after Waterfall, so after the 8th gym. But obviously, Salamence is an S tier Pokemon. Like, I don't know what to tell you. I would say because it's not as ubiquitous as these guys, we'll put it, like, here. But Intimidate, give it some Speed EVs, Dragon Claw kills Lance. Or I keep calling him Lance Drake. Crunch beats Phoebe. Like, this is, yeah, it's a gross Pokemon. And it's a Salamence. I don't know what you were expecting. Well, there you are. This is our Pokemon Emerald Encounters tier list. Remember, this is just my opinion. Feel lower than they should. Wow, look at this. Look at this Roselia. Subscribe, but only if you want.
Okay, so that is it. Oh, let me just come back here. So this is his final thing. I don't have the Pokemon that are not in Emerald. Grow this again. So I'm missing like Roselia. I don't have Vigoroth. Like Vigoroth is here. Roselia is bad. Obviously, you saw at the end of his, like, this is his list here. I think the F tier, I understand, like, you wouldn't use some Pokemon. I think Exploud, even with his reasoning, I think Exploud should at least come up to C tier, but it is pretty bad. C tier, I don't agree with a lot of this in C tier, actually. I think he's underrating Kecleon. I think he's underrating... I don't want to change these tiers, so what I'm going to do real quick, just at the very end, I think I'm going to put them, like, underrating. And where So Clamperl he didn't rank, and he didn't rank the Reggies either, which is fine. I think he's underrating these Pokemon down here for sure. Pinsir. I would say Gorebyss maybe. Yeah, the Gorebyss is fine in C tier. Muck is fine there. I don't. That's fine. I think in B tier he is overrating. I can even put like a B tier like overrating. I'm not gonna go over like every little thing. Just go watch my own tier list if you want. I think he's overrating Beautifly very, very hard. I think he's overrating Donphan too. Because what are you using a ground type for at that point in the game? Camerupt, I think he's over. Yeah, I'll leave Camerupt, I guess. No, I won't. No, I won't. It's gonna Rhydon. No, I won't. I think he's underrating those guys for sure. Everything else here is fine. Yeah, A tier, I think he is. Oops. I think he is hard overrating Sandslash. I see what he's going. I see where he's coming from, but I still just don't agree with it. I think he's very, very hard overrating Aggron, Claydol, Sableye. It's fine. Sableye's fine. And Flygon, he's overrating, but not by a lot. And then Torkoal, but not by a lot. I would actually do this. I'm gonna do like. I think he's hard, in my opinion. I think he's hard overrating these Pokemon, and I think he's like slightly overrating like these guys. I would say like that. Sableye could maybe. Nah, yeah, like that. And oh, Blaziken. Woo, get down there, Blaziken. Forgot about that. I think Kingdra should be S tier, but A tier is totally fine. Everything in S tier, I don't disagree. Tentacruel is the one I want to pull down, and Gardevoir too. I should pull down Gardevoir. I think these two he's overrating. I think you can put them both in A tier. I wouldn't argue somebody if they put Tentacruel in A tier. I think that's fine. I probably do put Tentacruel a little bit lower on my list than I should. Everything else I agree with. Linoone is fine. I'll make one very last one. That is he says S. I don't disagree, but I rank it differently. There we go. And that's a couple, yeah. The version exclusive Pokemon like Lunatone is here with Solrock. Zangoose and Vigoroth are here. I don't disagree with that. I'm not going to move ordering around. I really don't care about ordering. Blossom's here. Masquerain is here as well. Whatever. This has been a long one. Sorry, guys, for dragging me along for the whole time. But anyways, thank you Flygon for reaching back out to me, letting me review this. It's interesting to see other people's takes. You know, it's really interesting to see other people's takes on the same, you know, content that I'm doing, and see where we conflict. Like Sandslash. Sandslash is the biggest one that stood out to me. And I was like, really? You value the highlight? That's interesting. Like, it's not. I don't hate it. I'm not like, oh, you're wrong. I was like, no, I see where you're coming from. That's an interesting, you know, way to value things. We just value things differently, and because we're different players and have different experiences and stuff, and that's how tier lists go. So yeah, that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Thanks for tuning into this long one. Thank you to Flygon again. If you guys aren't checking out his channel, his content, he does pretty similar content to me, and he has editing and stuff, and better editing, and he's pretty funny. He's a pretty funny guy. So go check him out. I'll have his link into the description, his channel link in the description below. And anyways, that's gonna do it for the video, guys. Have a good night, y'all. Love y'all. Peace.